Alright guys, so in this example, now we're going to be looking at an equation that is already in vertex form. So in the last example, we took an equation in standard form, and essentially we wrote it in vertex form, we found the vertex and we graphed it. Well, now we are going to be given it in vertex form, and we're going to talk more about the actual shape of the graph. And so step 1 says determine whether the graph opens upward or downward. So going all the way back to the very first thing in the notes, we said that a graph is going to open upward if A is greater than 0. Essentially, if A is positive. A graph is going to open downward if A is less than 0, if A is negative. So when I'm looking at my value of A in vertex form is that number way out front. And so A equals 1/2. Well, 1/2 is positive. It is greater than 0. And so my graph is going to open upward. And so it's going to look like that. Now, I don't know what yet, but I know it's going to at least have that shape, and it's going to be open up. Step 2 says determine whether the graph of the equation is wider or narrower than the graph of y equals 2x minus 2 squared plus 3. Now, I said back in the beginning, in the very first video, that as A gets larger, the graph is going to get narrower. And so 2 is larger than 1/2. And so comparing, it says determine whether the graph y equals 1/2 x minus 2 squared plus 3 is wider or narrower than the graph y equals 2 x minus 2 squared minus 3. So this A is 2. And so this graph, my original graph, is actually going to be wider than that graph, the new graph. And I wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you Desmos. Desmos is a really great free website that you are certainly more than welcome to use on the homework. But Desmos is a free graphing calculator. And I just typed in these two equations on the left. It has a little keypad that comes up when you start typing in. So on the left, you can see that the green line, the top left, is my 1/2, my original. The orange line is going to be the other equation, that A equals 2. And I wanted to show you this because you can see that the 1/2, the one on the outside, the green one, the 1/2 is wider than A equals 2. And so this graph is going to be my original, the y equals 1/2 with A equals 1/2 is going to be wider than this new graph. And then it says find the vertex of the parabola. Well, thankfully they gave me it in vertex form, so it's really not that hard to find, or not as hard. H, K, remember H changes signs, and so I've got H is going to be 2, because it was negative in the formula, it changes signs. K stays the same, and so I'm going to get 3. So the vertex is going to be the point 2, 3. And then it's going to say find the point on the graph that has the x coordinate at x equals 0. All that means is you are going to plug in x equals 0 and then solve for y. Okay, so I've got all of this. Y equals 1/2 x minus 2 squared plus 3. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out x and put in a 0. And so I've got 1/2 0 minus 2 squared plus 3. And now I'm just going to solve this. So you could put this whole thing in your calculator. 0 minus 2 is going to give me negative 2 squared plus 3. Order of operations says I have to do the exponent first. Negative 2 squared is going to give me 4. Carry all that stuff down. Now I do my multiplication. 1/2 times 4 is going to give me 2. And then 2 plus 3 is going to give me 5. And so for x equals 0, y equals 5. And then step 5, I'm going to do the same thing, except now, instead of x equals 0, I want to find x equals 3. So I still have the same equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 2 squared plus 3. But instead of 0, I'm now going to replace x with a 3. Going to follow the same exact process. You can type it straight into your calculator, or you can do order of operations. So parentheses first, 3 minus 2 is going to give me 1. Carry everything down. Exponents, 1 squared is going to give me 1. Now I'm going to multiply. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. Plus 3 is going to give me 7 halves. Leave it as a fraction like we've been doing. And then that would be your final answer.